Welcome to Stories of Soul, the channel where we dive into touching tales of love, life, and second chances that warm your heart and inspire your spirit. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a story that could change how you see the world. Today, we're sharing a beautiful narrative called I'm Not Taking Your Money, the story of a mechanic single dad who reunites with his lost love, now a powerful CEO. Sit back, relax, and let this tale unfold. The rain pounded against the garage roof like a relentless drumbeat, echoing through the dimly lit space where Jake Thompson spent most of his days. At 38, Jake was a man built by hard work, broad shoulders from lifting engines, calloused hands from turning wrenches, and a face etched with lines that told stories of late nights and early mornings. His small auto repair shop in the quiet town of Willow Creek wasn't much, but it was his. It paid the bills, kept food on the table for him and his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, and gave him a sense of purpose in a world that had taken more than it gave. Jake wiped the grease from his forehead with the back of his hand, glancing at the clock on the wall. It was almost closing time, and Lily would be home from school soon. She was the light of his life, a bubbly girl with curly brown hair and eyes that sparkled like her mother's used to. Thinking of Sarah always brought a pang to his chest. Sarah, his high school sweetheart, the girl who'd promised forever before life pulled them apart. That was over a decade ago, back when they were young and full of dreams. She'd gone off to college in the city, chasing ambitions that Willow Creek couldn't hold, while Jake stayed behind to care for his ailing parents. They lost touch, letters turned to silence, and eventually Jake married someone else, a brief, ill-fated union that gave him Lily but ended in heartbreak when his wife left them both. Now it was just him and Lily against the world. He didn't mind, she was enough, but lately the shop had been struggling. Bills piled up. Competition from big chain garages ate into his business, and the old building needed repairs he couldn't afford. Jake pushed the worries aside as he heard the bell above the door jingle. A sleek black SUV pulled up outside, its engine humming smoothly despite the storm. Out stepped a woman in a tailored suit, umbrella in hand, her heels clicking against the wet pavement. She was elegant, poised, with auburn hair tied back and eyes that scanned the garage with quiet authority. "Can I help you?" Jake called out, stepping from behind a lifted truck. The woman turned, and time froze. Those eyes green like emeralds, the same ones he'd stared into under the stars all those years ago. "Sarah," he whispered, his voice barely audible over the rain. "Jake," she replied, her smile tentative but genuine. "It's been a long time." Sarah Ellis, now Sarah Montgomery, after a brief marriage that ended in divorce, was no longer the small town girl he'd known. She'd built an empire, CEO of Montgomery Tech, a multimillion-dollar company specializing in innovative software solutions. Her face had graced business magazines, her name synonymous with success. But standing there in Jake's garage, she felt like the 18-year-old who'd stolen his heart. "What brings you here?" Jake asked, trying to steady himself. "Car trouble," she nodded, glancing at the SUV. "It started making a strange noise on the highway. I was passing through town for a meeting and remembered your shop was here. Figured I'd take a chance." Jake popped the hood, his mind racing. Of all the places, why here? Why now? As he inspected the engine, they made small talk about the weather, the town, anything but the past, but the air crackled with unspoken words. "Looks like a loose belt," he said finally. "I can fix it quick. No charge for an old friend. Sarah raised an eyebrow. No charge. Come on, Jake. Let me pay you properly. He shook his head, a stubborn glint in his eye. I'm not taking your money, Sarah. Not after all this time. She paused, then smiled softly. Some things never change. As Jake worked, Sarah wandered the garage, her eyes taking in the faded photos on the wall, one of him and Lily at a fair, another of his parents. You have a daughter? She asked, pointing to the picture. Yeah, Lily, she's 8. Best thing that ever happened to me. Sarah's expression softened. She looks just like you. I'm happy for you, Jake. He finished the repair faster than expected, the rain easing up outside. All set. Drive safe. She lingered, hesitating. Jake, would you? Maybe want to grab coffee sometime, catch up properly. He wiped his hands on a rag, considering. I'd like that. They exchanged numbers, and as she drove away, Jake felt a stir in his chest he hadn't felt in years. Hope, maybe, or just nostalgia. The next day, Lily bounded into the shop after school, her backpack slung over one shoulder. Dad, guess what? We have a field trip next week, but I need new shoes. Mine are all torn up. Jake ruffled her hair. We'll figure it out, kiddo. How was school? Good. We learned about inventors. Did you know there's this lady who runs a big tech company? She's from around here. Jake chuckled, but his mind drifted to Sarah. That evening, his phone buzzed with a text, "Coffee tomorrow, my treat." He replied yes, and the next morning they met at the local diner. Sarah arrived in casual clothes, jeans, and a sweater looking more like the girl he remembered. Over steaming mugs, they talked. She shared her journey, scholarships to college, starting her company from a dorm room, the highs of success and the lows of loneliness. I never forgot you, Jake, she admitted. Life just happened. He nodded. Me too. After you left, I took over the shop from Dad. Then Lily came along and everything changed. They laughed about old times, prom night disasters, stolen kisses by the lake. But when Sarah asked about his struggles, Jake brushed it off. We're fine, really. She didn't push, but her eyes saw more than he let on. Days turned to weeks, and coffee became dinners, walks in the park with Lily tagging along. Sarah adored the girl, bringing her books and toys from the city. Lily, in turn, called her Aunt Sarah and begged for stories about big buildings and fancy offices. One evening, as they sat on Jake's porch watching the sunset, Sarah broached the subject. Jake, I know the shop's been tough. I could help invest a little, get you new equipment. He stiffened. I'm not taking your money, Sarah. I've built this on my own, and I'll keep it that way. It's not charity, she insisted. It's partnership. I believe in you. But Jake's pride ran deep. Raised in a family where you earned every penny, he couldn't fathom handouts even from her. No, he said firmly, let's not mix that with whatever this is. This was rekindled love, undeniable and growing. Stolen glances turned to kisses, whispers of I missed you in the night. Sarah commuted from the city, spending weekends in Willow Creek, blending her world with his, but tension simmered. Sarah's company was expanding, demanding more time. Jake's shop faced foreclosure threats from unpaid loans. Lily noticed the worry lines on her dad's face. Are we okay, Dad? She asked one night. Of course, sweetie, always. Then came the storm, literal and figurative. A hurricane warning hit the town, and Jake boarded up the shop, securing everything. Sarah called, frantic, "Come to the city with me. My place is safe." "I can't leave the shop," he replied. "It's all I have." The storm raged, power lines down, floods rising. Jake hunkered down at home with Lily, but water seeped in, ruining furniture. The next morning, he surveyed the damage. The garage flooded, tools rusted, inventory lost. Insurance wouldn't cover it all. He was underinsured. Sarah arrived unannounced, her SUV loaded with supplies. "Jake, let me help, please." Tears in his eyes, he shook his head. "I'm not taking your money." "It's not about money," she cried. "It's about us. I love you, Jake. I love Lily. Let me be part of this family." He pulled her close, the walls crumbling. "I love you too, always have." Together, they cleaned up, Sarah rolling up her sleeves alongside him. She didn't write a check. Instead, she used her connections, partnering with local businesses, promoting his shop online. Jake accepted help on his terms, learning that love meant leaning on each other. Months later, the shop thrived, renamed Thompson Auto with a tech twist, diagnostic software from Sarah's company. They married in a simple ceremony by the lake, Lily as flower girl. "I'm not taking your money," Jake joked in his vows, "but I'll take your heart forever." And so, in Willow Creek, a mechanic single dad found his lost love again, proving that true reunion comes not from wealth, but from open hearts. The garage buzzed with activity now, customers streaming in thanks to the new online booking system Sarah had implemented. Jake hired an apprentice, a young kid from town who reminded him of himself at that age, eager, a bit rough around the edges, but full of potential. Lily helped out after school, sweeping floors and organizing tools, her laughter filling the space like music. Sarah split her time between the city office and Willow Creek, turning Jake's spare room into a home office. Board meetings via video call, with the occasional interruption from Lily bursting in with a drawing or a question. "Is this what CEO do?" Lily asked once, peering at the screen. Sarah laughed. "Sometimes, but the best part is coming home to you too." One weekend, they took a family trip to the city, Lily's first time seeing skyscrapers up close. Her eyes widened at the lights, the crowds, the energy. "This is where you work. Aunt Sarah, I mean, Mom," she said, testing the word. Sarah's heart swelled. "Yes, honey, and now it's part of your world too." Jake watched them, gratitude washing over him. He'd been so afraid of losing his independence, but in opening up, he'd gained so much more. Challenges still came. Sarah's ex-husband, a rival businessman, tried to sabotage a deal, spreading rumors about her small-town distraction. But together, they faced it, Jake offering quiet support, reminding her of her strength. "You've built an empire," he said. "Don't let him dim your light." She won the deal, and they celebrated with pizza at home, Lily declaring it the best night ever. As seasons changed, so did their lives. Jake took classes online, learning about modern auto tech, blending his skills with Sarah's world. She, in turn, learned to slow down, appreciating the simple joys: picnics, stargazing, no agendas. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Lily asleep on the couch, Sarah turned to Jake. "Remember when you said you wouldn't take my money?" He grinned. "How could I forget? I'm glad you took my love instead." He kissed her forehead. "Me too." Their story became local legend, the mechanic and the CEO, proof that love bridges any divide. Friends teased Jake about his fancy wife, but he wore it with pride. "She's not fancy," he'd say, "she's Sarah." And in quiet moments, Jake reflected on how far they'd come. From lost loves to found family, all because fate and a loose belt brought them back together. Years passed, and Lily grew into a teenager, smart and driven like her stepmom, handy like her dad. She talked of college, maybe studying business or engineering. "I want to make you both proud," she said. "You already do," Jake replied. Sarah's company went public, shares soaring, but she never forgot her roots. She started a foundation for single parents, offering grants for small businesses, anonymous, of course, so pride wouldn't get in the way. Jake's shop expanded, a second location in the works. He mentored others, sharing his story. It's okay to accept help. He'd say, it doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. On their 10th anniversary, they renewed vows at the lake, surrounded by friends and family. Lily stood beside them, now a young woman. To second chances, Sarah toasted to us. Jake added, as the sun set, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. Jake whispered, I'm still not taking your money. Sarah laughed. Good, because all I want is your forever. And in that promise, their love story continued, a testament to resilience, reunion, and the power of saying yes to the heart. But let's rewind a bit to flesh out those early days after their reunion. The first coffee date was awkward at first, both of them navigating the ghosts of what-ifs. Sarah spoke of her climb up the corporate ladder, late nights in offices, deals closed over handshakes, the thrill of innovation. I created an app that revolutionized supply chain management, she explained. It started as a school project. Jake listened, impressed but grounded. I've fixed more cars than I can count. Each one's a puzzle, you know. Find the problem, make it right. They discovered shared passions, books, hiking, old movies. Sarah confessed she'd kept a photo of them from prom in her wallet all these years. Silly, I know. Not silly, Jake said, touching. When Sarah met Lily officially, it was magic. They baked cookies together, flour everywhere, giggles echoing. You're pretty, Lily said, like a princess. Sarah blushed, and you're brave like a knight. Jake watched, his heart full, but doubts crept in. Sarah's world was limos and boardrooms. His was oil changes and overdue bills. What if she gets bored? He confided to his best friend, Mike, over beers. Mike clapped his shoulder. Give it a chance, man. She came back for a reason. Sarah had her own fears. He's so independent, she told her assistant. What if he sees me as intrusive? But love pushed them forward. Their first real date dinner at a cozy Italian place ended with a walk under the stars. I've missed this sky, Sarah said. City lights drown it out. Jake took her hand. I've missed you. The kiss was tentative, then passionate, years of longing released. As their relationship deepened, practicalities arose. Sarah invited them to her penthouse for a weekend. Lily was awestruck by the view. It's like living in the clouds. Jake felt out of place among the luxury, but Sarah made it homey, cooking his favorite meal, playing board games. This is me, she said, but Willow Creek is you, and I love both. The turning point came with the storm, as I mentioned. In the aftermath, Jake saw the vulnerability in Sarah's eyes, not pity, but partnership. Okay, he said finally, let's do this together. They rebuilt not just the shop, but their lives. Sarah taught him about marketing. He showed her how to change a tire. Lily thrived, her grades soaring, confidence blooming. Holidays became special: Thanksgiving with turkey and tech gadgets, Christmas with handmade ornaments and city lights tours. Jake's parents would have been proud. Sarah's, long gone, would have loved Lily. Conflicts weren't absent. Once, Sarah's work trip coincided with Lily's school play. You promised. Lily pouted. Sarah canceled the trip. Family first. Jake appreciated that. Thanks for choosing us. Always, she replied. Another time, Jake's pride flared when a magazine article called him the CEO handyman husband. Is that how people see me? He asked. Sarah hugged him. They see a strong man who loves fiercely. That's what matters. Over time, they balanced world summers in Willow Creek, winters with city escapes. Lily interned at Montgomery Tech, discovering her passion for coding. On quiet nights, Jake and Sarah would sit on the porch, reminiscing. If that belt hadn't loosened, Jake mused. Sarah smiled. Fate has a way. Their story inspired others. A local couple facing similar divides sought advice. Communicate. Jake said, and let love lead. Sarah added, pride is good, but partnership is better. As Lily headed to college, the nest emptied, but their bond strengthened. They traveled Europe, Asia, blending adventure with quiet moments. One day, in Paris, Jake proposed again, on one knee by the Seine. "Will you keep being my forever?" Tears in her eyes, Sarah said yes. Back home, the shop hummed, a symbol of their journey. Jake mentored Lily's friends. Sarah hosted workshops for entrepreneurs.